Signori, buongiorno, benvenuti alla
Good morning, welcome to the Farnese now. We now have the declaration of Minister Di Maio and General Director too. Thank you very much. Dear General Director, I'm very happy to be here today with you for this first ministerial dialogue with the Mediterranean countries about the food crisis that Italy, supported by FAO, wanted to organize. As Director General said, Ukraine and Russia represent 30% of the world markets of grain. Over 50 countries in the world import at least 30% of their wheat supply from Ukraine and Russia, and some of them range from 70 and 100%, and that holds true for many countries of Africa and the Mediterranean basin. The price of wheat and other basic commodities were very high because of the pandemics, and today they've reached unprecedented levels. In May, an increase by 40% as respect to last year was recorded, and this worsens a scenario that was already worrying. In 2021, 193 million people in 53 countries were affected by very deep food insecurity, an unprecedented level again. So a food crisis that already affected different areas of the world runs the risk with the war in Ukraine to become a global food crisis unless we act immediately. This food crisis might generate even worse consequences because it risks to destabilize states that are already fragile, to trigger new wars, to generate migration flows more massive and more difficult to handle. Italy is one of the most important food cultures in the world, and we want to play a role in shaping the response of the international community to this crisis. But this reaction can only be collective and multilateral. With this Mediterranean ministerial dialogue on the food crisis that was attended by 24 countries and 7 international organizations, so we wanted to listen to the needs of countries that are most affected by this crisis in an area which is strategic for us, but that we share with a common food culture, the Mediterranean diet, which is, according to UNESCO, a heritage of humanity. Together with FAO, with the German presidency of G7, with Lebanon and Turkey, we have debated a number of topics that we will be developing in the following months. At the end of June, there will be a follow-up, and these solutions might range from possible financial mechanism to ease the input of food commodities when prices are particularly high, to the shaping of national strategies to reduce waste and food losses along the food chains. So we've talked how to improve the use of fertilizers and of the central role of research and innovation in making this quality quantum leap within the agri-food systems of Mediterranean countries. Italy will keep pushing in different directions. Our country has long ago decided that food security was a priority in our foreign policy, and it is at the very center, and it should be at the very center of the international agenda. The G20 declaration of Matera last year was a turning point. The cooperation between Italy and FAO has launched the Food Coalition, and the program will be activated also in the Mediterranean area. Within the G7, we strongly support the Global Alliance for Food Security that groups together governments, organizations, and institutions committed to develop strong and urgent actions. And also, we adhere to the initiatives free wheat for the resumption of traffic from Odessa and the Black Sea. Italy is committed within the UN family. Last month, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted a resolution on the state of global food security, and Upon an American initiative, the Global Food Security Call to Action was established, and I took part personally. The following weeks will be crucial in solving the situation, and I want to say clearly that we expect a sign for Russia, because blocking exports of wheat means holding hostage and sentencing to death millions of children, women, and men far from the battleground. And food security is a priority for our country. We put it very high on the international agenda, and we'll do our best together with FAO to prevent a world food catastrophe.
First of all, I also highly appreciate the Italian government and the ministers Di Maio, Minister Stefano, all the relevant organizations support the FAO mission and mandate for a long time. I said last year during the Matera Declaration, we didn't expect the war in Ukraine. We didn't expect the situation getting deteriorated after 1 year, but we had to do something to overcome the crises and challenges. That's real life, that's a real world. We have to fix the problems together by international solidarity. That's what we do, what we have done, and we will do together with the Italian government, with the FAO members, and with the international family, especially UN families led by the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. He, at the first week, I remember 1st of March, he organized a flash appeal to support the response international crisis, especially on food and fuel, and of course financial. So FAO, we are try our best to play professional, neutral role, and to offer the science-based solution or suggestions to the members. That's why we are so happy and so pleased to work together with the Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs and the colleagues to have this special dialogue, Mediterranean dialogue. As I said so many times, Italy and the Mediterranean should be proud of food first. And then, of course, Italy will have a special feeling with the football, and then fashion, and environment friendly. So it's time for us to focus on the agro-food systems, again, how to improve the infrastructure related agro-food system and rural development in Mediterranean areas. And also how to improve our way of life to establish the green style life, to reduce the food print, so by reducing the food loss and waste, especially mostly efficient, in my opinion, or deliverable things we can do by each of us, all the human beings and the consumers, we can do our best. Second, of course, as we said already, we need some immediate action to get the food, produce more and better, and also get the international trade market open. So keep the logistic more smooth, more efficient, and more effective, get the food accessible to the people who need the most. That's why this time I appreciate the Italian government to invite all the key members around the sub-region, I should say, around the Mediterranean Sea, from North Africa, Near East, and of course around the South European parts. And last but not least, we need to look at the mid or long terms, how to transform agro-food systems together, because we have a lot of room to improve, even in Italy, in Europe. how to improve soil, how to improve the water efficiency, how to improve the deliverable systems, food supply chain, and the value chain, you name it. The solution, ultimate solution, we have to strengthen research and the development. And that's a little long term, but it's most scientific approach. So all this, if we use this crisis as a new special call for us to take concrete action to strengthen from the medium term, long term solutions together. FAO is here, and we're willing to strengthen more close cooperation with members, of course with the host country here. So that's my commitment from day one, and I enjoy, on behalf of all FAO managers, enjoy the close cooperation and coherent collaboration with the Italian government and other members, and Europe, and all the regions of FAOs. So thank you for your support. Make the vulnerable and the farmers' voice to be heard. Make the people who need most timely helped. Thank you.
Il ministro Di Maio, Perla di Poppa, TG1.
A question for Minister Di Maio, Perla di Poppa. Unfortunately, the interpreter doesn't get the audio of the journalist and unfortunately cannot translate the question. Well, today's dialogue is here certainly to ease the dialogue with all the different agencies such as FAO, out to help all the countries that have difficulties in getting grains and wheat supply. The situation is very alarming. The food crisis was already there, had worsened because of the pandemics and is worsening now. There are attempts by Turkey to put up a dialogue with Russia. We do appreciate all the possible attempts to mediate. The Turkish Minister of Agriculture took part to the dialogue, and of course the dialogue between the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of Turkey and Russia might, in a way, contribute to release the stocks of grains and wheat that are blocked in the southern ports of Odessa and of Ukraine. But before sort of listening to the words and the speeches and the declarations, we want facts. We want Russia to release the grains that are blocked in Odessa. There were declarations about the diplomatic negotiations, but this, as a matter of fact, didn't lead to anything tangible. So we really want to play a role within the international community. In a way, we had already dealt with this problem during the Matera ministerial meeting, Development and Foreign Affairs, and that led to the Matera Declaration, which is all the more important now thanks to the food coalition that we have developed and thanks to Director General Chu. We are going to be able to help initiatives such as the food coalition to help the people, even in the Mediterranean Sea, to ease the situation of the populations. Caterina Semeraro, Agenzia Nova, for Director Chu.
What are your perspectives about food prices, and what are the tools at your disposal to monitor the situation? Thank you.
Of course, it's best answer. Please follow the FAO Food Price Index report. We are released the first week on Friday of each month. But of course, I'm not the fortune teller. I'm not the predictor We have to base the science and the data. But look, the case now, if you read on FAO website during past 3 months, we released the information notes. So look the 4 months curve and the trade. And the highest, it was March, so 160. And then come the April, 158.2. And now the May, it's 157.4. So slightly decreased, but that's a comprehensive index. So please remind all the journalists and the social media, look at the data and from that the FAO food price index. But if you segregate it into the different commodities, it's quite different from one to another. Look, the staple food like wheat will be slightly increased still. It's quite higher. And if fertilizer problem is not solved, they will be keep continue. But the oil, it's already vegetable oil, I mean. It's not the gas oil. I'm talking about the edible oil. So, and the price is already very high. I don't think they will have a potential to be more high, much higher. So it depends on different commodities. Third, I think FAO, we have FAO technical teams and look at the data. That's why since I come to FAO, we established a digital FAO, because you have to collect all the data first from the supply side, product side, and the import side, and then from the consumer side. So we have an early warning system and collect data from all the members. And for this region, of course, we also look at the issues. That's why the FAO report, it should be based on the science and the data. I said again. And we have a scientific interpretation of modeling, the mathematical modelings to investigate, interpret the data. And last but not least, also we need more solid support to FAO. That's why I appreciate Italia government during the G7 agricultural meeting together with the colleagues from the United States, Canada, and Germany, and last week also France, to offer the support to AMIS, Agricultural Marketing Information Systems, which was started in 2011. Yeah? So it's 11 years. During the pandemic, we offer the global situation of assessment, of food security assessment. And now it's timely to look at the situation, how to, deteriorate the global food insecurity after the pandemic. Now they added the war in Ukraine. So we hope we will expand the element of agricultural input, like not only fertilizer and seeds, and also agricultural fuels. Because a lot of majority of agricultural production now is by machinery. So it's agricultural machinery fuel. It's also very much impact on the agricultural production. So in short, FAO should be play the professional science-based role to offer the data-based suggestions and solutions to the members. That is under the FAO mandate. Thank you.
L'ultima domanda per il Ministro.
A very last question for Mr. Minister Di Maio or Annalisa Antonucci, Answer Agency. Good morning, Minister. The former Russian president has expressed very clear-cut opinions against the Western world. And what is your opinion about these declarations, and what are the perspectives, in your opinion, for the resumption of the negotiations? Well, they're very serious and heavy declarations, and there are countries in the Western world that are making all possible efforts to find a sort of diplomatic solution and to find a way to reach peace. And as a matter of fact, Russia accused in many ways Italy, and the accusations were also launched towards the Western world. But let's never forget that there is an aggressor, an invader, which is Russia, and an invaded country, an aggressed country, and that is Ukraine. But as a matter of fact, all these threats will not inhibit our efforts to reach peace. The Italian government is strongly committed for a diplomatic solution wherever and whenever it is possible to resume negotiations and to find a diplomatic solutions. In manifold occasions, I recalled and I stated that there isn't a peace that you can impose and a unilateral peace. I think that Russia has to show that it wants peace. It wants peace. Tomorrow I will be with President Draghi and with Minister Franco in Paris. We have the presidency of OECD, together with other countries, will assess the economic effects and consequences of this war. And as quite rightly said by Director General Q, all these consequences have to do not only with food security, but with energy security as well. And the two things go together. We will repeat at OECD that we condemn the aggression of Ukraine by Russia. But we will also state again and again that we will support all the possible efforts by all the interested parties to reach peace and to find a diplomatic solution. Thank you very much.